And those things will be limiting and disabling potentially for both parties. Now, you can imagine the person that is disclosing, you can imagine some of the things that they're going to be feeling. They might be feeling defensive, emotional, they might be feeling judged, combative, and at risk. And it could be that this conversation or this experience is a replay of something that they've had throughout their lives with different language. Because neurodivergent individuals don't necessarily understand themselves or why their behaviors or why they're thinking or their challenges really. They haven't quite got to grips with it. Many neurodivergent individuals prior to diagnosis late in life will, as I did, will consider themselves flawed, like there's a problem with the character or attitude or skill set. It's not until one's had a diagnosis and we start to unpack that and understand it, we realize that actually these are symptoms that we're working with. These aren't flaws. Now, when I would enter a conversation believing I'm a flawed individual, I would be defensive, I would be emotional, I would feel prejudged, I would be fearful of rejection. My anxiety would be through the roof. So you can imagine, I always assume that the person in front of me in these conversations is starting from that position. So my role, with the person on the right, the person with the cogs in their head, my role is to really be considerate of that, to really understand and appreciate and create rapport and comfort first. Now, I have these conversations regularly with people, so I'm quite comfortable in this space. But guess what? Not many people are. So lots of people having these conversations on behalf of you, your teams, your organization, they have very similar fears. They're for different reasons. They're in a very similar place. They might be feeling defensive. They might have already spoken to 3 people this year around performance and feel like they've been attacked and they're stuck in the middle. There's not a lot they can do about it. So they're entering into this defensive. They're slightly emotional. They could be agitated. They could be anxious. They would feel judged for being authoritarian, for being the boss, for being bossy, for thinking they know everything. They may be ready to go into combat, and they will feel at risk for their reputation, for their relationship. So the risk here is very different. The person disclosing, their risk is all about their status within the organization, potentially even their job in worst case scenarios. They could be thinking about their mortgages and their family and their relationships and how much value they are. Their ego could be playing quite a big part, especially if it's a late in life diagnosis. The risk for the person facilitating that conversation is different because the risk is around the organization, their reputation, leadership brand, their relationship with that individual and with the rest of the organization. So the risks are slightly different, but it's interesting that the structure, if you like, is the same. The content is different for both individuals, but the structure when we approach these things can often be the same. I often find that sharing something like this at the start of these conversations with the individual concerned, regardless of what side I'm on, is helpful because you start to realize that actually you're in the same place. And if you're sharing at this level this early on in a conversation, then you're starting to signal that you matter, how you feel matters. Everyone in the room matters, and that's what we're going to put first.